So if you're joining us here in the room, and it's a case that that it's great to have you here. You're very, very welcome to sort of ask me questions and chat and stuff, and we'll undoubtedly have plenty to discuss. And great to see you here, Ronald, Vincenzo, etc. Yeah, as apologise. Yeah, as I said, my webcam. I cleaned my screen, and it seems to have damaged my webcam, and I'm waiting for the replacement. So I do apologise for that. But listen, you're here to be educated and to have to be provided with insight and knowledge, more so than look at my less than pretty face, ladies and gentlemen. So let's crack on with our session for today. We'll just bring the slides up, and hopefully we can just kick off and start, and we can have a good conversation here, ladies and gentlemen. And so I hope you can see the slides. As I said, I hope you can hear my voice, and here we are today to talk about turn around your trading, all about coming back from a slump. It's kind of an interesting subject. What you might have noticed is that for this month, okay, here we are in August 2021 when I was talking about this particular session. August is normally quite a quiet trading month. Okay, I actually trade very, very little myself during August, because just after the first week of it, the month tends to be a little bit quiet, a little bit dull. Okay, because pretty much the world and his wife are away on their holidays. But even though the markets might not be at their the best to trade, that does not mean that you cannot still be working on your trading business. And so the majority of the webinars I've given this month have been about subjects and topics that you can be looking at, you can be working at, to help make you the best trader you possibly can be, and to help ensure that you have the best finish to 2021. So that's what we'll be talking about today. One of the particular elements, turn around to trading. Great to have you here, Christy, Mohammed. Thank you. Great to have you here as well. Everybody's welcome to join us in the room today for today's session. As always, here we are, Admirals, okay, a Forex and CFD broker with global reach and local support, licensed and regulated across a wide range of regulatory environments, providing competitive spreads on the most popular trading products, and allowing you to engage with markets using both the MT4 and MT5 trading platform. If you have any questions about Admirals, please get in touch with your account representative. And as always, there's a little bit of further news from Admirals, is that they now offer copy trading. So if perhaps you're a successful trader and you want to build a business out of your trading, that might be of interest. Equally, you might be a trader but find that that your present time constraints don't allow you to focus on trading as much as you'd like, and you might be interested in invariably copying successful traders. As I said, if you speak to your account representative, they'll be very happy to help update and guide you. Also, what we have is a case of you can now follow us on Instagram. There at Admirals Global, you'll find some great posts there, just about markets in general, about resources that Admirals provide to you, and also when these next series of webinars are available for you. So what we're going to catch on about today, all right? What's on the agenda? So we'll talk a little bit about why do we have trading slumps, okay? And it'll be it'll be something that I'd be interested to hear your own thoughts, okay, and your own experiences. It's a case of nobody escapes them, okay? In your long trading career, nobody escapes them, okay? And it's actually what you do and how you respond to them that will reflect your future success as a trader. So we'll talk about, also, what, if any, are there maybe any early warning signs that a slump is coming. You might be surprised about that. Okay, sometimes that can actually you can have a few weeks' notice that it's coming your way, and not unsurprisingly, well, if we had a slump, what can we do to turn around our trading? Okay, what is it that we need to do? What are just a couple of simple steps? There's lots of things you can do, but I'm just going to share a couple of simple steps that you can take away from today and either use them if you're going through a slump at the moment, or alternatively, just be able to sort of be aware of them for your particular future. So for those who don't know me, my name's Paul. I've traded for many, many years. I primarily like to trade FX indices and commodities. I tend to be a dominant trend trader for my longer term swing positions, and I tend to be a reversal and mean reversion trader for intraday trading. So turn around your trading, ladies and gentlemen. It's I'm just going to ask a quick question. In terms of, did you sign up for this webinar because you are experiencing a little bit of a slump, or you had one, and in the past, and you wanted to learn more about what had happened. Maybe you've not had one, but you're interested to see how people respond to it. It'd be interesting to understand, what people's experiences have been, and I assure you, there is certainly no judgment from myself. Okay, I have had slumps in my trading career. Everybody does. It is part of your trading journey, and anybody who tells you that they don't have slumps is probably telling you a few porky pies there, as we would say here in the UK. They're probably telling you a few tall tales. So it is part of your human experience engaging in markets, and and as I said, there's no judgment here from certainly from me or from anybody. And actually part of it is the conversation that we can have as traders about what we've experienced, how it was, and what, if anything, has helped you recover from that. So there's basically Ronald's here, so Ronald says he usually joins all of them for him, and that's very true. Ronald's great to see you here. Okay, so he said you missed the recent ones, but Ronald, they are all available on the Admirals YouTube channel, so be sure to go on there. And Peter there is, he said he wanted to attend this, as last week I had a brilliant week winning all but one trade. This week I can't get anything right, so definitely in a slump at the moment. Okay, so I appreciate that, Peter. Thank you for your honesty and openness. As I said, there's no judgment from me. Everybody's working hard to be the very best trader they can be, and if there's one or two little glimmers of light that I can provide here, then this will have been a very successful session. But as the slide says there, lots of people who start trading do so with many false and damaging expectations. And the disconnect between their expectations and the reality of trading causes them harm and leads to poor trading. As I've said already, everyone will experience slumps in their trading performance. That is a fact. Okay, everybody experiences it. And it is how you respond to those slumps that will determine your future as a trader. And so today we're going to take a look at what happens when slumps occur, and actually how you can turn around your trading. And I'm going to talk to you from my experience, both as a trader, both as a trader who's worked for funds and been on trading floors, and also as a coach who works and helps traders get out of their own particular slump. So, I'm bringing a lot of my own experience, personal experience that I've lived, personal experience that I've helped others, and we'll hopefully and happily share that with you. So Brian says, I'm not sure if I'm in a slump or just haven't started winning consistently, struggling to find my strategy. Thank you for that, Brian. That's a little, actually, what I'm going to do is I'm going to touch on that a little bit as we go through, if that's okay. But once again, I appreciate your openness. I appreciate you sharing that with us, and I'll make sure to sort of just talk a little bit about that as we go through in a couple of slides time. But thank you for sharing that. And Tina says, hello, I'm a beginner and everything is interesting to me. I've got a lot already, but still know a few. Okay, welcome, Tina. You are very, very welcome to our session today. And as a beginner, there is a lot for you to learn. Okay, and sometimes being forewarned is forearmed. Okay, as we would say here in the UK and such. And so, this session will help you with that. Gertz says, mostly, some losing traders, but with risk management in profit, but very slowly. Risk management is key, Gertz. Okay, sometimes traders learn that the hard way. Okay, sometimes they learn that the hard way, and we will touch on that in a moment or two's time. So a few weeks ago, I did a session on intraday risk management, and I put up this particular post. It's because I talked about this is a Pogo cartoon from 1970. We have met the enemy, and he is us, and that is very true. More, you find that traders, they do more damage to themselves than the markets do, and a lot of that is to do with their expectations and their reality. And it's important for you to know your enemy, okay? And the enemy is mostly you. And I said there, many times, slump in performance, especially for intraday traders, are the rule, not the exception. How you manage them will determine your success. If you're an intraday trader, things happen much faster, so you're going to make mistakes, you'll have slumps. But every trader, whether you're trading the 1 minute chart or the 1 monthly chart, you will occasionally have particular slumps in your trading. And recognizing that, accepting that, and looking at what you can do to change that is what will help you. Okay, accept it's part of the journey of being a trader, and how you respond to that is actually what will effectively come through for you. So why do people call a trader coach? Why do people, pick up the phone and speak to someone like myself? Okay, so very often it is there's a whole range of reasons that you hear from people. So they're getting inconsistent results. All right, they are looking for consistency in their results, but their results are anything but. Very often they can be feeling overwhelmed. Maybe the markets are overwhelming them in terms of, how they're trading, how markets are moving. Maybe they're feeling overwhelmed, but just because they're trying to fit everything into their life. They're trying to manage a day job, might have, a partner, a family, other family commitments, and they're trying to fit their trading in. And so they're feeling overwhelmed by it all. Many might have a lack of clarity on their trading plan. A lot of them have absolutely no trading plan whatsoever. All right, and that's that in itself. And then they wonder why they're getting inconsistent results. Or maybe they have some rules, but they're breaking the ones they do have. Okay, they can't actually keep to the rules. And that's a point we're going to touch on a little bit later. Maybe their trading is causing them to experience extreme stress and pressure. Maybe they're just having a few emotional leakages, a few emotional problems with that. Perhaps they're struggling to make the right decision at the right time. Or maybe they've had a loss of self-belief, self-confidence, and self-discipline. Maybe the frustration from their trading is boiling over to other areas of their life, such as their work, okay, such as their relationships and finances. Perhaps they are just experiencing a performance slump after a good period, or they're just not being able to create the profits that they'd been led to believe that they would. So maybe you recognize some of those. Maybe you've experienced all of them. Maybe you've not experienced any of them. Maybe one or two are particularly resonate with you. If they do, just put it in the chat box which one you found yourself nodding your head to, saying, yeah, I've experienced that. I've had that. Mohammed has asked, in your opinion, what's more profitable, trading currencies or metals like gold, silver, and oil, for your experience? That's a good question, Mohammed. What we were going to touch upon that is I'm going to touch upon that a little bit later. What is the most profitable is what is the best setup for yourself, the best market for yourself. And we're going to touch upon that in a little bit better, okay? And I'll talk a little bit about how we can do that, how you can help yourself understand which are the best trading instruments for yourself. But thank you for the question. So, there's all those kind of particular, areas and reels, but, if I start to boil down into, when does my phone really ring? When people are having slumps, when does my phone really ring? Invariably, what normally tends to happen is because invariably the trader has experienced quite a significant loss, one that is outside of their normal parameters. That may lead to, or they may already be experiencing, some intense emotional pain. Very often that is linked to very poor management of risk or a complete lack of risk management. Or finally, they are just fed up. They're feeling frustration. They feel as if they're in the last chance saloon. They feel as if they've been going through kind of like death by 1,000 cuts. And it's one of those three things that is just, is normally the real reason that my phone really goes. Okay, that's when people pick up the phone. There are some people who've had fantastic trading years and realize that they want to continue that and extend that. And they call me because they want to keep in the best place. But actually, very often it is when people are struggling, people are in pain of one sort or another. And that is when they kind of look to reach for help. What we really often find is that people are like looking for a turnaround in their fortunes. Okay, not unsurprisingly, they want to turn around in their fortunes if they've been having a bit of a tough time. Very often what happens is they come looking for revolution. Traders, they want revolution. They'll just basically scrap everything and want to start afresh. But actually, what is often more useful is invariably a case of that they, as I said, they come looking for evolution, but often it's merely evolution that they need. It's time for you to evolve into the best trader that you can be, to evolve into your next level as a trader, to use this pain, okay, or this frustration as a tool, to use it as a platform from which you can get better as a trader. You can evolve to your next level as a trader. We are all evolving to our next level as a trader. Even myself, that journey never ends. You are always evolving to being the best trader that you can be. And having that kind of open-minded, that kind of growth mindset is what will enormously help you with your own particular trading. Here's a book that I found actually very helpful to myself as a trader, and also kind of drives my approach when I'm looking at people and trying to help traders like yourselves. And it's a great quote, okay, from this book by Robin Sharma called The Greatness Guide. With better awareness comes better choices, and with better choices you'll see better results. Clarity breeds success. And it's a good book to read, The Greatness Guide. It's not about trading, but I assure you, if you read it, you'll realize it is all about trading. Okay, and it is very true. This, that's a quote for life, but is actually also a quote for yourself as a trader. If you're having a bit of a slump, all right, with better awareness comes better choices, and with better choices you'll see better results. Clarity breeds success. It is absolutely true. Okay, it is absolutely true, and that is part of the when someone works with a coach, that's part of that relationship, about raising the awareness of trader and letting them see their kind of blind sides. And that's what this session is here today, is about helping give you some food for thought, some insight, some education that helps you, go away this weekend and start asking yourself some better questions, start asking yourself, just a few tough and challenging questions that allow you to have better awareness. And once you have that better awareness, you're in a position to make better choices. So, what is interesting to me, what I can actually share with you is that, I present at lots of trading conferences. Okay, I run events around Europe, and I will speak to traders, and it's fantastic. I really enjoy it. But what is interesting also is that, when it comes to basically people wanting help, but then also working with a coach, what they realize is that actually, what they gain from it is that it's all about accountability. In our lives, we all know we should sleep more, we should exercise more, we should watch less TV, we should drink less alcohol, we should eat better, better diets, more fruit and veg. We all know that, don't we? We all know that at a level, but actually how many of us do it consistently, day in, day out? And I would suggest not as many people do as you would think. And that is part of the lack of accountability. And private traders, when they're sat at home trading, they once again have that lack of accountability. If you're in your day job, you probably have a boss, and that boss will basically help provide you a bit of accountability. But when you're sitting at home as a private trader, you lack that. And that lack of accountability is what allows traders to basically break their rules, just invalidate their risk management principles, do impulsive trading, all of these things that actually start to lead up to having slumps in performance. And part of an element of a coach is about having that element of accountability that basically helps you. Ronald says, I never drink alcohol. Fair play to you, Ronald. That's very good. When the 4 years or so I worked for a hedge fund, I didn't drink alcohol myself and such, because I was working. I'd start work at 5:30 in the morning, still be there at 9 o'clock at night. And I was doing my best work, etc. And we all have to. We all have to make sacrifices at times to be the very best we can be. When we work, and that's part of it. So we will all actually have to have those kind of conversations with ourselves about, what are you prepared to sacrifice to be the best possible trader that you can be. And so what it comes down to, and what I call it is that, once a trader's had a bit of a slump, maybe they're struggling a little bit, is I call it about it's like turning the supertanker. Okay. I'm sure you've seen footage of big, crude oil supertankers, out in the ocean seas. When they come to turn a corner, it doesn't happen very fast. Okay. It doesn't happen very fast. And that can also be a little bit like traders starting to change their approach, starting to basically embrace a new way of viewing markets, viewing themselves, trading markets, etc. It can be sometimes a little bit like turning the supertanker. And sometimes that means is also equally is that if you are making changes, it might take some time for you to really recognize that those changes are taking place. Sometimes you'll make some quick changes, and invariably you'll get a very instantaneous feedback that that is working for you. But other changes, certainly into elements, things like behaviors, that can take time, ladies and gentlemen. It doesn't happen overnight. Okay, there's nobody who can sell you any magic pills. Okay, or nobody who can sell you any magic lotions that you can slather yourself in to just turn yourself into a super trader overnight. It'll take a little bit of time and effort. But the thing is, if you and your trading is your super tanker, well, it's better for you that it's pointing in the right direction. Okay, so it might take a little bit of time, but actually it's better that you are pointing in the right direction rather than careering towards the watery rocks, which is not where we want to be going. So how do we start? Okay, how do we start? And so this is where I start talking about the wrap. Okay, the wrap being the kind of the first element, the first phase of it, which is all about recognize, accept, and prepare to change. Firstly, recognize slumps in performance are the rule, not the exception, especially for intraday traders. Recognize it, okay, and accept it. Accept that this is likely to be part of your experience. That might sound very, very simple, but actually what you find, and I find with an awful lot of private traders, is that they struggle to accept that their trading is going through a bit of a slump. They don't like to accept it. They don't like to embrace it. They actually try to resist it. So how do they start resisting it? They start resisting it things like they stop keeping good records of their trading. Okay, they stop keeping good records because they don't want to see the data, which is just effectively just confirming that they're having a bit of a trading slump. Or they stop doing all of those good behaviors that got them into a good place in the first time. So they won't prepare for their trading day. They won't bother about whether they got quality sleep the night before. They won't follow their pre-trading routines, etc., because they're all just effectively doing anything to basically to resist accepting that they're in a bit of performance slump. And equally, once you start noticing that in itself, okay, when you start noticing things like how you can't be bothered to fill out your records, that in itself is an early warning sign that you are burnt out as a trader and you need to take a little bit of a break. And if you don't, the likelihood is that you're going to experience a performance slump or a slump in your equity curve as well. All of these little hints and tips, they come to you, they see you. The market is always communicating to you. You are actually always communicating to you yourself. Part of the job as being a trader is about being able to recognize and understand those signals within you. I often say to many, many traders that, especially for men, I might add, trading live markets might be the very best personal development course that you ever do, because you're going to get instantaneous feedback on your trading. You're going to get all of these kind of feedback loops that are kind of just giving you constant data about who you are, how you are, what you like, what you don't like, where your strengths are, where your weaknesses are. And actually you have to recognize them, you have to accept them, and you have to prepare to change. All right, prepare to change. You have to start to look at the bigger picture. You will all come as new traders. You will come to a point in your trading career where you have to make a choice. Are you going to be an amateur with a hobby, or are you going to be a professional with a business? That choice is yours, ladies and gentlemen. You get to make that choice. It doesn't have anything to do with the size of your trading account, or what technology you have access to, or who your mentors or coaches or anything. You are going to have to make that choice. You will have to make that choice. And if you make that choice to become the professional of the business, you're going to have to prepare to change. You're going to have to wait and start to look at the bigger picture and to look at how you operate. Part of this, and I've talked about this, for all the time I've done webinars with Admirals, is recognizing and understanding that turnaround your trading comes back to those 4 M's of trading: markets, method, money, and myself. When you are trading well, when you are in a good space, you will be in that sweet spot where you will trade well. If you are experiencing a slump, it is because one or maybe more of those particular 4 M's is out of alignment. It is not being managed. It's not in the right space. And I can give you a little bit of a hint, is that is normally the myself bit, okay? But we're going to come on to that in a little bit. I want you to think of 2 traders, ladies and gentlemen. I want you to sort of, consider 2 traders And basically, just think about this. Take trader A. Okay, trader A is in a good physical, mental, and emotional space. So he's financially secure, physically fit, supportive partner, networks. So they are managing myself. They are managing themselves. They exercise consistent and robust risk management every trading day. So they are managing the money. That particular trader A is trading a trend following strategy that suits their profile. It suits their personality, character, and beliefs. So they are managing the method. And finally, the market that they're trading is in a trending environment. So it suits their trend following method. So they are managing the market environment. That's trader A. As opposed to trader B is in poor physical, mental, and emotional health. They're under financial pressure, they're physically unfit, their partner doesn't support them, their family and network don't really support them in their endeavors. So they are poorly managing themselves. They're undisciplined and inconsistent in their risk management approach. So they are badly managing the money. They're trading a trend following strategy that they bought from someone else off the back of some overhyped internet marketing campaign. So they don't really understand it. So they are poorly managing method. And actually the markets they're trading, they're presently in a range bound environment. So it basically invalidates their trend following method anyway. So they've got poor knowledge and understanding of the market environment. So which trader do you want to be, ladies and gentlemen? Do you want to be trader A or do you want to be trader B? It's quite simple, isn't it? Really, when you look at it like that, it is actually quite simple. And you get to make that choice. You get to make that choice. When you're managing yourself, managing your money, managing your methods, and managing the market, you start to put yourself in a good space, as opposed to being trader B. Vincenzo says, I'll be trader A, thank you. That's a good choice, Vincenzo. That's a good choice. Ronald says trader A, please. Absolutely. You're absolutely right. Okay. Brian, so I just seen your point there on YouTube. Everyone has the secret strategy to success or learn the secret. Only 5% of traders know, and it is driving me mad. They all sound good, but it's bewildering. I can answer that very quickly and easily here, Brian. Okay. If they had all of the secrets to trading success, do you think that they would be doing videos on YouTube? Okay, and most of those people there, are they are selling hope. They are promising the world. The reality is, trading is just like any other skill. You're going to have to work to learn it, to actually become good at it, to take it all on board, to, as you see here, to be like trader A, to manage myself, money, method, and markets. That's where you need to be. Anybody who's telling you that that they're going to make you an overnight superstar trader in an evening or a weekend is don't walk away from them, run. Okay, that's the bit of advice I can give you. So let's have a quick look at markets, because I want to know for new traders is that you have to partly recognize which are the right markets for you. Are you a stock trader? Are you an index trader? Can you trade commodities, FX, bonds, fixed income, or even these days, crypto? There are a whole host of different markets. And it's important that you understand those particular markets and understand which ones suit your personality and suit your lifestyle. Okay, suit you. I appreciate we have a real global audience here, ladies and gentlemen. And so certain particular market assets will suit you better based upon where you are physically in the world. To begin with though, for complete traders, all right, to starting new traders, you need to prove to me that you're actually able to look at a market and recognize, is that market trending or is that market range bound? As simple as that. That sounds very simple, but you'd be surprised how many people I see who struggle to even accomplish that. If you don't really fully understand what environment that market is in, how can you actually employ the right trading method within that market? Just take that on board. Just think like that. Brian says he's running now. That's right. Good on you, Ryan. Brian, pick those knees up, run away from them. So one other thing, and here's Dr. Alexander Elder, is private traders have advantages over professionals, the ability to stay out of the market, yet they squander this advantage time and time again by trading when they shouldn't. All right. It's about recognizing what that market environment is. Okay. And is it the right environment for you? And can you utilize that environment to make good trading decisions? And if you can't, well, then step away and either don't trade or go and find a market that is more suited for you. Great quote here from Larry Height there. If you argue with the market, you will lose. And he's absolutely spot on. Okay, he's absolutely spot on. But people do, men do argue with the market, okay, because it's their ego. All right, because they think that they need to be better, they need to be smarter, that they know best. You don't. Okay, the market is going to do what it's going to do. It's your job to understand what is it doing. Is it doing nothing? Okay, like most markets are at this time of the year, or is it trending, or is it is it just clearly in a very clearly defined range? Before as soon as you can do that, you're in a position then to start making better choices. Remember, with better choices, you tend to make better results. Then you need to look at your method. Okay, this is for new traders. This is where all the focus goes. So, Brian just said there, he sees lots and lots of videos on YouTube sharing all sorts of supposed trading success, strategies, because new traders love it. New traders love it. I run events, okay, hundreds of traders, they all want to know, they all want to talk about the trading method. How do you buy? How do you sell? What is it? What's your setup? And that is where popular focus, because it's interesting. And you can use lots of different ways to basically come to a point of making a trading decision. Some people want to focus on fundamentals or technicals or sentiment. But really, you need to understand very simply again, what is your method? Does your method work better in trend following markets? Does it work better in range bound markets? Is it an arbitrage method, which is really just about the difference between markets, not really something that private traders need to be involved with these days? Or maybe you're an event-driven trader, okay, as geopolitical events, financial events happen in the world, and that makes market moves. You have a way to trade around that. What I say there at the bottom is everything works and nothing works. And the reason I say that is because it's about having the right method in the right market environment. As I said earlier, if your markets are trend following, but your market method is range bound, doesn't matter how good it is, you're going to struggle. Okay, you're going to struggle. You need to understand the market environment and employ the right method that works for you, but it's also for the right particular market segment at that particular time. Thesego says Dr. Elder wrote the book Trading for a Living, which is a great book, and it is, yeah. His, and Coming to His Trading Room, very good books. I'd happily recommend them. Ed C. Cota in Market Wizards, okay, systems don't need to be changed. The trick is for a trader to develop a system with which he is compatible. And this comes down and nudges towards the actual trading myself, okay? It's about, developing a system with you are compatible, that you are able to execute flawlessly time after time. That becomes more important than anything. Next, we need to look at quickly at money, okay? For new traders, private traders, money management should actually be the most necessary focus. Risk management is you're looking at being able to position size and size your trades and actually stick with simple risk management protocols. You hear me talk about this all the time, just very two simple rules. 1, never ever trade without stop loss. 2, never ever risk more than a small portion of your account on any one trade. If you do those 2 simple rules, then you will live to fight another day. And as you do, you gain experience and knowledge and insight, and your trading becomes better. You also have to recognize, the capitalization. And as I said, I think quite at the start, is that sometimes, people have very, unserving expectations in terms of their capitalization, in terms of, they feel that can start with a very small account, and turn it into multi-millions overnight. Anything can happen in trading and markets. But trading is all about probabilities, okay? And you give yourself the best chance, with your probabilities, if you ensure that you are managing risk correctly day after day after day. Ed Dakota says there, as he says, the element of good trading are cutting losses, all right? Actually, risk management is one of the simplest topics in trading to understand. And yet I find it fascinating that many traders really struggle to stick with it. Just have a couple of simple risk management principles. You never trade without a stop loss. You only risk maybe 1% of your account on a trade. That's it, just to start, okay? Just to start. And if you do that, well, then invariably what will happen is you will live to fight another day, and you'll get some great training experiences, and you will become a better trader over time. Mr. Brett Steenbarger, he writes excellent trading books as well. He's a very well-known trading coach in the United States. A surprising proportion of emotional problems in trading can be traced to improper risk management. He's absolutely right there. People who are over trading, people are trading too big a position size, for their emotions, for their level as a trader, and invariably that's what causes them to get into emotional problems. Those emotional problems lead to poor trading decisions, which lead to increased trading slumps. So the work you do on this is actually unbelievably helpful to you. And finally, myself. Okay, the fourth M of trading, managing myself. And this, for new traders, is very often the most often ignored, because they think it's all about the method. They think they just need a method that will just act like a bank ATM machine, just pumping out cash for you. I wish it was like that. Trading is not like that. Okay, trading is a fantastic endeavor which will challenge you, okay, and will make you bring the best out of yourself. And part of that is about managing yourself. And as I said earlier, I think trading is a fantastic personal development course. And part of that is you have to realize, why are you trading? Have you come to the markets for really true, genuine reasons? Are you fascinated by markets? Are you fascinated by trading? Are you actually fascinated by becoming the best trader you can be? Or did you just see some dodgy advert on YouTube, okay, promising you the earth, okay? Because I assure you, trading is not like that, okay? And with that, you also have to have reasonable aims and expectations. It's good to have purpose. It's good to have goals, but it's also good to have expectations that help you rather than hinder you. It also comes about managing yourself, also becomes about managing you in terms of managing your physical health, your mental health, and your emotional health. That doesn't mean you need to, doesn't mean you need to have a six-board, a washboard stomach, okay, to be a good trader. But you should be in good physical health, okay? You should, you're going to spend a lot of time at your desk. You have to make sure that you get out there and go for a good walk and a good run and do things that, get you out and make you happy. Equally, managing your own mental health and emotional health, they become increasingly important. And part of that which helps is actually ensuring that you have the right support structures in place. We're private traders. Private traders are at home because you're home on your own, which actually means that sometimes, the only voice you're listening to is the one inside your own head. That isn't always the best one to be listening to, ladies and gentlemen. So it's about having good support structures, about getting to know other traders, about being able to come to sessions like this and be able to actually sort of, interact with other traders. It's about being able to watch Marcus's sessions every morning, where he's always giving you a little bit of insight, a little bit of help. You can see other people who are in the same way as you are. About building your own correct networks and making sure that you have the right environment that supports you in your trading endeavors. And that it takes a bit of time, and people at the beginning think that it is not important, but I can assure you, ladies and gentlemen, all right, I can assure you it is increasingly important for you as you go further down in your trading career. So, as Ed Secote says there, I don't think traders can follow rules for very long unless they reflect their own trading style. Eventually, a breaking point is reached, and the trader has to quit or change or find a new set of rules he can follow. This seems to be part of the process of evolution and growth of a trader. Ed Secote has just summed up my 40-minute presentation in a couple of sentences there. And, he's absolutely spot on. He's absolutely totally true there. Totally true. Okay, and it is, as I said earlier, you'll have a point where you'll have to make a decision, and it is a part of the process of evolution and growth as a trader, and something that you will always continue with. I've been trading for many years, and invariably, I am still evolving to be the best trader that I possibly can be. Ronald says, I was already interested in trading before I knew what it was back in the 80s. Fantastic. That's great. That's great feedback. I was myself back in the 90s, and it just grew from there, so I've always been fascinated by markets. I've always been fascinated by trading. I've always been fascinated by the psychology of trading. Okay, but how people behave in markets. I find it absolutely utterly fascinating, and it's that actually keeps you motivated, keeps you inspired, keeps you moving forward when you have the odd challenge. Mr. Peter Brandt, who's in the latest Market Wizards book, okay, and as he says, the human element of trading is enormously important, has been ignored by other authors for years. Recognizing and managing the emotions of fear and greed, central to consistently successful speculation. And he's absolutely spot on there, Mr. Brandt. Absolutely spot on, okay? It is enormously important. And managing yourself, as I say, the deeper you go into your trading career, the more important it will become. So that's what I said, those 4 M's of trading. I talk about it a lot, and I appreciate sometimes maybe people consider it or maybe think about it, but actually you know, it works. Okay, it works. You know, and take a bit of time to recognize, you know, are you on top of the 4 M's of trading? Are you managing all 4 of those M's? Are you actually, you know, are you engaging with it? Are you reviewing that on a day-to-day basis and a week-by-week basis? So, you know, that is kind of, let's say, the picture, but let's start to think about 1 or 2 things that we can start to do to basically turn that super tanker if you've had a little bit of a challenge, if you've had a little bit of a you know, a bit of a you know, a troubling period, which happens to everybody. Well, you know, first of my tips is stop. All right, you know, if you're struggling, if you're in a bit of a trading slump, okay, thinking that, you know, you're going to trade out of it, that is not necessarily the best way. So my first tip is stop. But there is more to this than meets the eye, ladies and gentlemen. So, you know, bear with us. You know, what we're going to talk about is, we're going to talk about stop, stop, stop. We're going to talk about this is Mr. Galway, Timothy Galway, who is the kind of godfather of coaching. He wrote a book called I think it was the Inner Game of Tennis was the first one, was the first book, and that started the whole kind of coaching regime. And, you know, even though that book is probably 35 years old, it is still a great book to really read. Also, I think the Inner Game of Business, and he's written a few of the inner game type books, and it's all about managing your inner game. And if you are having a slump, okay, and it could be a slump in that particular session, maybe it's just that session you're trading that morning, maybe it's a slump for this week, maybe you've been in a slump for a month or this quarter, maybe it's been this year, whatever it has been, stop, 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 step back, think about what you're doing, organize your thoughts, and then proceed. All right, stop, stop, stop. If you are finding yourself, you know, as an intraday trader, okay, if you're in a session in the morning and you're struggling with it, and, you know, and it's not going terribly well for you, okay, stop, stop, stop. Okay, don't be trying to get into what, when I was in the Air Force, was known as press-onitis, or just invariably just press on, press on, press on, press on. That doesn't help you. Stop, stop, stop. Step back, think, organize your thoughts, and proceed. You know, and as I said, it's important for intraday traders, but equally if you're trading swing, or if maybe you're trading position traders, you know, however you are particularly trading, just ensure that if you are in a little bit of slump, take time to stop. Okay. What you're also going to need to look at is, we've just talked about the relevance of those 4 M's of trading in your approach. It's time for you to do a little bit of review. Be honest with yourself. Are you actually properly managing risk? Okay. Are you, every time you put a trade on, are you placing a stop loss? Are you position sizing your trade correctly so that you're only risking a small portion of your account, maybe say 1% on your particular trade? Do you have a particular rule or risk management principles about actually how much exposure you allow yourself in the market? So I normally suggest that, you know, a rule for new traders, that they shouldn't really have anything more than around about 6% of their account exposed. Some people might want to go a little bit more. Some people might wish to go a bit more. But remember, if you're a new trader, okay, what you're looking to do is just to ensure that you are managing risk. Okay, you've got your, you know, your value at risk, the overall, let's say no more than 6%. Each trade should be no more than 1% as well. And also each trade should also be managing risk in terms of having a stop loss in every single trade. If you're an intraday trader, if you remember, you know, I did a complete session on managing intraday risk management, which you'll find on the Admirals YouTube channel. You know, and I talked about that in that for intraday traders, if you have 3 losing trades on the trot, my suggestion is you just stop. Stop for that particular session. You're clearly not in flow with the market, so basically you want to step away from it. All right. Furthermore, do you know your market? Now, do you know your real market? Okay. Now, lots of people recently will have, let's say, started trading crypto because they've seen news periods that, you know, basically, or news examples, you know, showing people who've done very well trading crypto. Just because other people have done well trading crypto doesn't mean that it's going to be the best thing for you. It's about knowing your market. Do you really understand and know your market? Do you really know what drives it, what moves it, when its most liquid and volatile periods are, so that you are able to trade it? Furthermore, do you know what your method is? Have you kept good records? If you are not keeping good records of your trading, well, then it becomes very hard for anybody to help you. If you're not keeping records, start. You don't have to, you know, create a huge data mine, okay, or event. Although there is technology that can help you, but even just making sure that you're starting to keep some of your records from your trading, okay, so that you're in a position to start to review that. Finally, what, if any, support structures do you have? Okay, what do you actually have? Do you have particular support structures in place? Is your partner supportive? Is your family supportive? Do you have a space where you can sit and actually trade from, or are you just trying to trade off your iPad in the local coffee shop, etc.? Right? Are you keeping good records? Are you managing yourself? Are you making sure that you're sleeping well? Are you making sure that actually you prepare yourself before you even switch on your screens? Which is another thing which we talked about in one of the earlier sessions from earlier this month. All of these things are, are elements that you need to start building in to effectively start to turn around your trading. Okay, start getting back to doing the best practice. Gert says there 6% seems large. Mostly I heard 1 to 2% or 6% is for all orders together. Gert, 6% is for all orders together. Okay, you should never have more than 6% at risk. Okay, and each individual trade could be in the sort of 1 to 2% region, depending upon you and depending on your personality and actually your capitalization of your account. That's the answer to that. So here's a few final tips from myself as a trader, is that you're always going to pay for your education as a trader one way or another. All right, so be prepared for that. If you want to be a world-class trader, you're going to need a world-class support structure. Look at world-class athletes and how they operate, okay? They don't get to be good and then ditch coaches or ditch support structures. Actually, they build even better ones around them to ensure that they are in a position to trade at their best. If you're a coach, get one early. Don't wait till you're struggling. And we talked about this earlier in one of the earlier sessions earlier this month, okay? Just be clear about, if you need some help or support to get yourself out of your slump, recognize, do you need education? Do you need to be taught about trading? Is it mentoring? Do you need to be guided, to given just a little bit of advice and guidance? Or is it coaching? Do you need to actually be stretched from your area? Take your time to find one that will suit you, but also importantly, just keep good records. Start keeping good records. There are some fantastic tools there on the internet that are available there to help you start good records. The MetaTrader platform keeps records, but you should also keep your own. Be honest with a coach about your level of experience and your expectations, and be realistic in your own expectations. This is where actually having trader buddies can help you. And I appreciate that in the environment we're in at the moment, finding trader buddies locally might not necessarily be advisable or easy, but nevertheless, okay, starting to build your own little network of trader buddies around you, maybe people you meet here, maybe people who you meet at Market's early morning sessions, okay, that allow you to effectively just start to build your own little support structures, your own little trader buddies that help you manage yourself. And remember, an amateur has a hobby, a professional has a business. So in conclusion, ladies and gentlemen, performance slumps are the rule, not the exception, okay, especially for intraday traders. Accept them, expect them, and then plan for them. It's always important to raise your awareness, okay? Raising awareness is by actually asking yourself decent, straight, honest questions about how you're trading. By raising your awareness, it puts you in a position to make better choices. And with better choices, you tend to generate better results. Do you truly understand the 4 M's of trading, okay? Markets, method, money, and myself. Do you truly understand them? Are you truly managing them? Or are you just paying them lip service? Are you just basically just doing them because oh, well, Paul will go on about that. But do you actually truly understand and recognize and follow them? And if you are struggling, then stop. Step back, think, organize your thoughts, and proceed. Make sure you do that. So Freeze has said, can you tell us why markets such as NASDAQ, Dow Jones, DAX, etc. goes up heading Fed speech? Thank you. That's really outside the remit of this particular session, Freeze, okay? But invariably what you'll see is, when there are Fed comments, okay, or where the Fed speaks, like Mr. Powell, I believe Mr. Powell speaking today, well, invariably that has a huge impact, because a lot of that is about expectation reality, about what they believe the Fed will say, and whether that will have an impact on that particular market. So that is a good question to ask my colleague Marcus. If you go into his morning show, ask him questions like that, and he is he has the time and the ability to basically answer that particularly. Brian says, I built a spreadsheet journal and a hyperlinked Word doc to record every trade along with screenshots of the chart to help him while I took a trade. That's excellent. That's excellent, Brian. Okay, give yourself a pat on the back there. That is the kind of really good best practice that I like to see from traders. And even if you have struggles, you will have a great amount of data that you or your buddy or your coach can actually look at to help you and actually just help you get better and improve as a trader. So that is the kind of really good practice that you see really good traders develop, Brian. So as I said, give yourself a pat on the back there and keep doing good stuff like that. So don't forget to join us next time. So you can join me on Wednesday, and I'm going to talk about COVID-19 and how have the pharma companies done out of the COVID-19 pandemic. So we'll have a little look at some of the individual pharmaceutical responses to the COVID-19 pandemic, who have been the winners and losers, how could we engage them if we wish to, and has the opportunity passed? Have we missed that? That's going to be 2 o'clock London time on Wednesday, 1st September. Check your inbox for the webinar link, or head over to the website for that. So as always, if you wish to contact us, you can do. Okay, email at global@admiralmarkets.com, and you can see where you can get hold of us there on YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram. There, it just remains for me to say thank you very much for joining us today. Okay, it's an interesting topic, and it's actually one I could have talked about for in fact for the whole weekend, because there was actually so much there to be able to do that. Brian says I can't always catch the webinars live. Where can I find them to? Well, if you look on this page here, Brian, what you'll see is youtube.com/Admiral Global. That is where a lot of them are. Also facebook.com/Admirals Global. You will see them there also as well. As always, I wish you the very best success in your own trading, ladies and gentlemen, and I hope you have a wonderful weekend, and I look forward to speaking to you soon. Many thanks, ladies and gentlemen. Marcus said you're going to have a webinar this Wednesday. Yes, it'll be 2 o'clock London time. If you go to the Admirals website, you'll be able to find that. Brian, thanks. But yep, you're very welcome, Brian. Thank you, Donald. That's great, Yusuf. Thanks, Vincenzo. Great to see you. Excellent webinar, Paul. Really useful. Thank you. Very useful, Peter. Great to see you there. Thank you, Tina. Hope you all have a fantastic weekend, everybody. And I will look forward to speaking to you soon. Take care and trade well, everybody. Bye.